So I'm excited for this because I could tell you're fired up. We got some issues we're going to cover.
It's you've got a 45-minute show, an hour show, whatever it is. I'm a passionate guy about this, and honestly, every time I go somewhere, I tell people, be prepared because you give me 5 minutes, that really means 5 hours.
That's awesome.
And I can talk till breakfast. We might have to order in or something. So.
Hey, we'll do a 24-hour show here.
There you go.
But let's take it back to square one, because you don't just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a sheriff. So I always love people's origin stories. So let's take it back to the good old days. You're once upon a time. How did this whole path start for you?
It's I don't think it definitely wasn't a conscious decision when I was a kid that I want to grow up and be a cop. I had no law enforcement officers in my background or in my family. Very small town. We had one police officer, and he was the chief of police, so everybody knew him. That was my idea of law enforcement. So growing up, I was probably like a whole bunch of other kids, I was going to be a professional baseball player. So that was my life.
Right.
And around 16-ish or so, I had an encounter with a highway patrolman, and I ended up getting a ticket. But in that process, he sat with me and talked with me 15, 20 minutes, and it wasn't a speeding ticket. It was for something different. And, a little brush with the law as a juvenile. And, he told me nothing different than what my dad has always told me. But the way he talked to me and the way he told me, I'm going down a path, and right now I can choose this fork or this fork. This fork takes me down a path I probably don't like, and this one I could have a big future in baseball. And he knew who I was just because of the sports thing. So when I left him, I really, really did feel different. And it was a very humbling experience. I was very embarrassed instead of being a kid that was
screw that guy.
cops.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was very embarrassed, and I was humbled, and so it did stick with me. But then when I became an adult, my baseball career didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to. I know, and it wasn't my fault. I should have been there. Darn it.
Yep.
But I got into law enforcement, and at the time I was working in a Ford dealership in the service department, and one of my buddies there was going through the academy himself, and I start talking to him about it, and I remembered that guy, and I remembered what an influence he had on me, and all growing up I was very athletic, oriented for different sports. So
Sure.
Coaches played a big part in my life and in my nurturing through life, and I respected all of them. So I get into law enforcement, and it just, I don't know how or why, but it was God. I mean, I'm a believer, and I believe that everything, if you do things right, you're led down a path of that's probably where you're supposed to be. And so I got into law enforcement, and boy, from day one of the academy, I knew this was where I was supposed to be. And since being a cop, I carry every single day that thought of what that highway patrolman did to me, and if I can influence somebody, and I believe there are kids out there that I have changed their life because I've talked to them like he talked to me, and I've told them the same things that he told me. So I'm pretty sure there are people out there. So it makes me feel good they're there, and I really enjoy kids. I got 4 of my own, but high school baseball coach, cross country coach, track coach. So I enjoy mentoring kids with athletics. I mean, when you're learning athletics, you're really learning to be a good team player and a good adult.
So many ripple effects that come out of that.
Yeah. So, that's basically how I got into law enforcement. It wasn't something that I picked and went to. It was something that multiple things in life led me to.
Doors opened, huh?
That's right. And whether it was an ad in the paper or a friend telling me, here's the day you need to show up to test, it all worked out, and here I am. And